What is up, nation? The Big Talk Nation. Welcome back to another episode of the Big Talk Podcast with Chris and Greg. This is Chris.
This is Greg.
And that was the ever also almighty AC/DC. Bon Scott style.
Heck yeah, man. I'm ready, bro. Let's get going.
Yeah, I'm ready too. We're going to do a couple AC/DC albums for you today. But first, let's let you know where you can get a hold of us. Let's see if I can do this right the first time without fucking up.
All right.
At BigTalkCG.podcast on TikTok and Instagram. If you go to our Instagram bio, you can find our link tree. Click that. You can find everywhere you can see us, everywhere you can listen to us. At BigTalkCG on Twitter. BigTalkCG@gmail.com for long-winded gripes or compliments.
Whoa.
And we are also on YouTube. Just look up the Big Talk Podcast with Chris and Greg. And on Facebook, Big Talk Podcast with Chris and Greg.
All right, dude. No mistakes, man. You're ready to roll this time.
No mistakes. I'm trying to cut down on mistakes in my life, dude. I just got one big one I need to cut out, but it's not you. I promise.
I was going to say that. Was it me? You cut me out. I'll cut you out.
You know, we wanted to do AC/DC, and we were kind of like contemplating on what we wanted to do. It was like, do we want to do some of the lesser known albums? Do we want to do the big ones? Do we want to do just one on Bon Scott, Brian Johnson? And we said, you know what? This episode is coming out on one of the bigger holidays of the year, 4th of July. Let's just blow it out just like we blow it out on the 4th of July. We're going to go ahead and do Highway to Hell, the last album they did with Bon Scott, and then we're going to do Back in Black, the first album with Brian Johnson. Those albums were back-to-back, 79 and 80. They're two biggest selling albums. So let's just do it. It'll be rockin' time. It'll be fun.
There you go. I like it, man.
And Greg kind of said, let's do this. So if you love it, it's Greg's idea. If you hate it, it's Greg's idea too. So Greg's either going to get a bunch of fan mail or a bunch of hate mail or both. Probably in the same, probably in the same email.
Yeah, right.
Or, you know, maybe
I love it. Oh, you suck. That was good. You stink.
I love hating you, and I hate how much I love you. I know how you guys feel, dude. I feel your pain. Anyways, that was right off the top. That was Highway to Hell, the lead-off track on that album, the Highway to Hell album, which was the last album with Bon Scott, like I'd said.
Yes.
In 79. Let's kind of go over just some facts. Just a couple, and then we'll just talk our way through this album. You know,
okay.
Released in 79, July 27th. I think it had multiple release dates depending on which part of the world you're in, or else I confused that with Back in Black. I know it had like a couple different release dates, but July 27th, 1979 was the release date for this album. Great album. Love this album. Let's go ahead and let's just play.
Sounds good.
How's the volume on your end, baby?
Sounds good, man. Love it.
This is such an iconic album. I'm gonna turn down just a tad bit. There we go, right there. Especially this song, which was written about, you know, how hard it was on the road. These guys were relentless, touring all over the world, Australia, Europe, Americas. The Highway to Hell, dude. That's what this song's about.
Well, I had two stories for you on that I read up on. There is really a highway to hell in America. It's called Route 66. It's a section of the highway that ran through Arizona to Utah. For some reason, it's called the Highway to Hell. And there's another one where the story is Bon Scott wrote this because he lived in a little city. I think it's called Canning, if I'm right. And it was a highway that went from this all the way down to a pub. And the pub was called Raffles. Mm-hmm. And there was just, it's in Australia, and it was just a highway that went through it. And then he said there was no speed limits, there was no stop signs, there was just no, and then that's what they put is that he just loved that little road that took him to this bar that he would hang out, that played music, and, you know, he could have fun, have some riffraff and all this other things.
Riffraff.
And that's what it was. And that's what, to him, was a highway to hell. And people interpret it as being life on the road, doing this, you know, craziness and stuff like that.
Yeah, so there's different. I guess it almost depends on who you talk to in
Correct.
the band. Who do you talk to that was around the band? Who you talk to is good. Definitely, they're all gonna kind of like we do as listeners. We all get our own interpretation of it. They all think, it's about this, it's about that. So it's great that it's, about so many things and so many people, which I think is great when a song is like that.
Correct.
Quintessential song. This is just an amazing song. So iconic. The guitar solo we're hearing right now is great. What a way to start this album. I mean, starting this album with one of the most iconic tracks in the history of rock and roll, 1979. It was released, the single was also released the same day the album came out, July 27th, 1979. Let's go to the next track.
Got it.
One thing I love about AC/DC is very simple. They play pretty much a rock blues, a blues-based rock and roll kind of a situation, but it's basically partying and sex, women. Those are kind of really the,
drinking, having a good time, playing loud music, and
making loud music with women.
Yes,
if you will. And the song is right up their alley, dude. Girls Got Rhythm, track 2 from the Highway to Hell album. She's got the rhythm, the backseat rhythm. There's no, I mean, like we say it all the time, there's no beating around the bush on this one.
Correct.
It's straight to the point, I love it, dude. Bon Scott's kind of, his swag, and we would talk about both of these guys, both these singers. They got a lot of things in similar, but one thing that you can really differentiate these two, and I was talking to my wife about it earlier today, they both have a swag, but their swag is so different.
Yes.
And they're both so iconic, yet so similar. You know what I mean? They're different, they're the same, but
isn't that the dynamic between me and you, where we're so similar but we're so different?
Yeah.
In that sense, like I'm a little older and I have a little more experiences this way, and when you talk about it, your experiences are a little bit different in that sense.
Just enough of an age difference to where a lot of things we experienced were the same, but far enough apart where a lot of stuff we experienced it differently.
Yes, there you go.
And the same stuff, because you may have experienced it earlier or later, or vice versa, so on and so forth.
So that is a great way to talk about Bon Scott and Brian Johnson. They're similar, they're different, they have something that still makes the AC/DC sound in their realms of singing. Mm-hmm. Bon Scott did this, Brian Johnson did that. But you're right about that. I love this song. This is so fun, exciting. I almost want to say danceable in a sense.
Oh yeah, a lot of their songs are danceable, dude. If you're at the Rainbow Room,
yeah,
you're dancing to this one. If you're up in their
man.
club right there. Let's go to the next song.
All right.
Great song. Love the song. Walk All Over You. It starts out a little slower. I love the drum. The drums at the beginning of this track are super killer. Great song, dude. Love it, dude.
Oh, heck yeah. More of, in the lyrics, it's more of like 2 cents of like, yes, I'm going to walk all over you, or I love it when you walk all over me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But some of the lyrics sometimes feels like you're the dominant one. Other ones, no, I want to be dominated.
Yep.
In that sense. Still, great track. Super killer.
I love this little, when they break into it, the riff here is super killer, dude. And they're gonna try to trick you, but AC/DC ain't playing no slow jams. They have some songs that have a upper mid tempo beat to it, but they're not playing no ballads.
No.
So you think it's gonna be a slow one? Nah. This is killer, dude. I remember going to I don't know if we ever went. Did you ever go to any of the Bonfire? It was a tribute band here in Los Angeles. Saw them a bunch of times. They're one of the better tribute bands that I've seen here in LA. They're right up there with Atomic Punks as far as I'm concerned. And they did all Bon Scott AC/DC songs. So it was almost, and they were on point. Bon Scott, the guy that was singing, looked just like him, same mannerisms, everything. So you got to hear a lot of these songs, and they sound really good. They sound very similar to AC/DC. So you almost got a taste of like what it was like in that small club.
I really like it too, because you're right. A lot of times we've seen them. Santa Fe Spring Swap Meet is one of them that I seen them and I loved it. And they really used the whole stage. The guy that did
Paladinos also.
Paladinos was another one. These guys, they would run up and down, where all the people are. They at one point, I'm gonna jump on your shoulders. And they also did a few songs from Back in Black. Just like, hey, we're just gonna throw a few in there. Nothing crazy, but they just did a few of them.
Yeah,
that worked too. They're a great band, and I would love to see them every time they're. There's a lot of female bands doing this.
I believe it was called A Whole Lot of Rosies.
Yeah, Whole Lot of Rosies.
And there's another one, Hell's Bells.
Yes.
BELLES, I think.
Yeah, that are going around and they're doing,
I saw one of them and they strictly did Brian Johnson.
Oh, okay.
AC/DC. I can't remember which one. I think it was Hell's Bells. And their singer was killer. She came out with the same hat that he used to wear, and she had that
raspy voice.
Crazy, dude, how good they were. It was like, wow, dude, this is amazing. So there's a lot of good stuff out there. You just gotta look for it and you can find it. You can find it out there.
What I like about this song too, the chorus is really good, and playing it live, people are gonna sing it back to you.
Yeah. And that's another thing, this album, both these albums we're talking about were produced by Mutt Lange.
Yes.
They weren't doing a lot of, the whole band, singing with them, through the chorus or doing background vocals. They didn't do a lot. That was something that they were doing, but he kind of really brought that out of them and made it more of a significant part of these songs on these two albums. I mean, Mutt Lange, one of the great producers of all time,
right?
Brought in a band that you think couldn't get to another level. On this album, got to another level, and then you didn't think they could get to another level, and then he brought them to yet another level, and great stuff, especially with Mutt Lange, producing this album is killer.
Oh, heck yeah.
Let's go to the next song.
He did exactly what was expected of him to bring out a little more juice, a little more oomph, a little different on anything else. He definitely took him to the next stratosphere, and even on the next album, did it again, Killer.
Touch Too Much. I mean, wasn't much she wouldn't do. Touch Too Much. Another, one of those songs.
Couldn't this also be where I read it where they were saying that the song is about like you had the perfect woman and it was just you couldn't handle it and it just was too much.
It's too much. It's you touch too much. It's like the touch is too much. It turns you into a one pump chump. Or maybe a 2-pump chump. I don't know, dude.
Yeah, exactly. and that's like, what it was about. You're too beautiful for me. You're too hot. You're too this. Exactly. So touch too much.
Touch too much, but like we said, I mean, there we go. 3 songs, or how many songs do we into this? Track 4?
Yeah.
3 of them about sex already. I love it. About women. You know what these guys are. And he's got that. Bon Scott's got that like I can just see him like sauntering and swaggering on stage, just kind of like putting out this vibe. No shirt on. He's got no shirt on, right?
Yeah.
And he's just, I don't know what it is about him, but he had such a stage presence. No one ever talks about him when they talk about vocalists and lead singers and frontmen. No one ever talks about Bon Scott, but he's right up there with the best of them. He had every ingredient you want to put into a frontman for a heavy metal band or any kind of band in general. He's got it all, and he's one of the best of all time.
I don't know if you're familiar with this, Chris, but on Bon Scott's last performance, he lip-synced this song when they did Top of the Pops in Australia. So, they're like, oh, this is, tonight we have AC/DC. So the guys are lip-syncing on this, and that was his last performance before he passed away.
I've always wondered, like, on things like that, American Bandstand. Let's go to the next song. Beating Around the Bush, track 5. I always wonder on shows like that, American Bandstand, Top of the Pops, where they were lip syncing. You can't play it live. We don't want to let you play it live. You got to lip sync it. Was anything hooked up? I mean, what about the drums? You can't fake hit drums, can you? I mean, what's going on with the drums? Do they have pads on them so they're not as loud?
Maybe.
What's going on here? Can somebody let us know? Email us. Let us know on one of our socials. Comment below. whatever, wherever you're watching this, YouTube, you know, if you're listening to it on Spotify or Apple, wherever, message us. Let us know if you know what happens during these lip-synced, pre-recorded live performances. Or do they edit all that stuff out? And on the broadcast, it's kind of, they take out all the other sounds and they just lay something over the top. I don't know.
That's wild, dude.
I gotta know. Somebody please tell us.
There you go.
We think we know everything, but we don't.
We know everything. What are you talking about?
We do.
Do you know how Bon Scott got involved with the guys?
Tell me all about it.
Other than, did you know he was a truck driver, you know, shoving gear for bands or doing stuff? And he sang, and the bands really, somehow he got involved with AC/DC, and he just brought them out with a different element, because they did have a one singer prior to their release in Australia. So that guy didn't work out. I think they did one song that was actually recorded, and somehow they got Bon Scott. But his life experiences, being on the road, funniness that he's experienced, either with women, booze,
enthusiasm for life,
just brought all those poetic energy that just brought his lyrics out. That's why a lot of his stuff, like you said, is about wine, women, and song. And kind of went out. He was always wanting to buy a drink. He was always wanting to see which one of these ladies was the funnest. Always talked about, you know, we're gonna rock. I'm gonna let you rock and roll out there. And
yeah, it was like Bon Scott and the Young Boys, Malcolm and Angus, were like kindred spirits.
Yeah, exactly, right?
They finally found each other, kind of a situation.
Yeah.
As cheesy as that sounds, but shit, they did it twice, it seems like. Another great song, Beating Around the Bush. Well, again, what are we talking about here? It's Beating Around the Bush. You know exactly what we're talking about. Sex. Again, women. Love it, dude.
I thought he was a gardener, man, and just kind of like, I'm trimming the bush.
maybe trimming the bush. I love it, dude. You're hilarious. Let's go to the next one. This is next one right here, one of my favorites on the album. Shot Down in Flames.
Oh, yeah.
That's great right there, dude. The little scream, the little screech, the 1-2. Let's go. Nice little simple blues rhythm. Here comes the bass, dude. Freaking Cliff Williams, Malcolm Young, Phil Rudd, holding it down. This is great stuff right here.
So we talk about mostly guys listening to rock music and stuff like that, but this song does appeal to guys in the sense, Shot Down in Flames, they said they wrote it about, you know, watching guys get shot down by girls. All of this, you know, hey, you're right to this. Oh, I'm gonna go talk to this girl. She's really pretty, or blah blah blah. You know, I'm gonna buy all these girls a drink, and then, you know, you buy the girls a drink, and they're kind of like, yeah, thanks, goodbye.
Yeah, dude, you know,
shot down.
You you just got to get right back on the horse again. Shot Down in Flames. Let's go to the second verse. Now what are we gonna do? You know, I mean, that's the life of a rock star, dude. You know, Shot Down in Flames, or I guess any single guy. Yeah, you just got to get back on that horse again and see if it bucks you off, right? And Shot Down in Flames.
Yeah,
such a great song. They brought it down just a little bit, slowed it down just a little bit. I love the chorus, dude. Is just killer. It just got such a great groove to it. One of my favorite songs on this album, might be my favorite. I kind of sometimes go off the beaten path, and I know that Highway in the Hell is one of the greatest rock songs of all time.
Yeah.
But I love listening to this particular song, even though I know Highway to Hell is the one. I love listening to this song, dude. The guitar solo on here is great too, dude.
Do you think that like Mutt Lange really took these guys and kind of, you know, like you said, they slowed it down just a little bit. So maybe in the demos is a little more upbeat, and they kind of, hey, let me tweak this, guys. Let's do this. Let's get this sound going from these guys, and stuff like that, man.
Maybe.
I think he was a great producer, and he really showed it on his chops on this.
Yeah, he did. You know, he did a lot of things, and I'm probably going to tell some of the same stories that I'm going to tell right now. But Mutt Lange did a lot of great things. You know, he could actually play instruments. He could do things, and the way the guys in the band tell the stories, Mutt was telling them to do things that he could also do himself, like Bon Scott was singing, I forget what particular song, but probably went for a couple of them where he was singing, but his breathing wasn't right, so it was coming out a little bit not as good as it could have been so much. He was a trained singer, a trained vocalist, was teaching him, this is how you got to do your breathing. Your singing and breathing go together, and not at the same time, but you got to make sure your in-breaths are at times when you can take them. You're not hurried, you're not rushed, and you're not, the music, the vocals aren't suffering because of it. Taught him a lot of stuff like that. And even with Angus, he taught him to, he would sometimes make, you're going to play that guitar solo for that song?
Yeah.
Come sit next to me and play it. And he'd be like pointing up, but no, play it down here. Come down here and play it. Play it up there. They're all like, yeah, right, whatever. And he's like, well, yeah, come on, let's do it. And they were like, oh my God, dude, this guy's great. He brought the best out of us by showing us and teaching us things that we didn't know, or things that we already knew or could do, but bringing it out of us. That's what a great producer is supposed to do. They, who was it? Eddie Kramer, I think or is that his name? Eddie Kramer, the guy that they first had. Was that for this album or for the next one? No, it was for this one. No, it was for this one. He was supposed to do the producing for this album, and then he got replaced by Mutt Lange. They just did not get along with him at all right off the bat. There was just, right off the bat. So, they mutual friend said, hey, let's bring this guy in. And they kind of told Kramer, we're taking the day off tomorrow. Don't worry about coming in. The band went in one day, laid down 6 songs, just demoed them up, sent them to Mutt Lange and said, hey, you want to come work with us? He said, yep, and the rest of it's history, dude. Got rid of Kramer, brought in Mutt Lange, dude. Great.
That's crazy, dude. What's the name of this song?
Oh, man, dude. This is track number 2 on side 2, Get It Hot.
Get It Hot.
What do you think I'm talking about here? Dude, I love it, dude. I love it.
Get my food hot. When you get in the car, it's hot.
We'll set the world on fire. Get it hot. See, I can see Bon Scott just strutting on this one, too. Just back and forth on the stage. Yeah. Just like that. Look at that. Like, kind of like sauntering. Oh.
Yeah.
Almost like a in a different way, but kind of like Freddie Mercury would do. You know how he would have that little strut?
Oh, yeah, he has that strut.
But I kind of see Bon doing it with a little bit more sleaze or a little more machismo in there.
There you go. Yeah, let's go a little machismo.
Where he was like, I'm going to show you that shit, where Freddie was like, I am the shit. The difference, right? That subtle difference kind of a thing. I love it, dude. This is great stuff right here.
Oh, that's so killer, dude.
All right, let's go to the next song. You ready? If you want blood, you've got it.
Yeah. So going back to, okay, we're not talking about sex now, but we're talking about, hey, I'm so passionate about this, such as we are about our podcast. It's like, you want to see blood coming out of me and show how passionate I am? This is what I'm going to give you. Yeah. I'm going to give you this. You want blood? I'm going to give it to you, and I'll show you how passionate we are.
Yeah, that's exactly, because the story behind the song is, it was borrowed from the album that came out before this, the live album, If You Want Blood, You've Got It. They wrote this song, and it was came from Bon Scott was getting interviewed, and a journalist at this festival they had in July 78 called The Day on the Green asked him, what can you expect from an AC/DC show? What can you expect from the band? And Bon Scott simply replied, blood. Which means we're going to give you everything we got for the show. And you want blood? You got it, dude. What a great response to that question, man. Great.
Did you say Day on the Green?
Yeah, Day on the Green Festival from July 1978.
Isn't that over here in San Francisco? Or is that the Bay Area, Day on the Green?
It might be, dude. It might be.
I remember in the early part of the 80s, it was Day on the Green, and it was in San Francisco where they had that kind of stuff. Because I know Metallica did one, Green Day did one. There was Soundgarden was part of that, or they were invited to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Day on the Green is a recurring concerts in Oakland, California.
Oh, Oakland, okay.
Bill Graham was the promoter. Bill Graham Presents. Yeah, they've had everybody there, dude. It's good stuff right there.
Nice.
I love it, dude. Little quick research on the fly there.
Yeah. Do you think that the guys maybe wrote this song a while ago, and then they just didn't get all the pieces together, and they brought it to Mutt, and he kind of like, oh, I can do this with it.
Absolutely,
I can do.
I don't know that for sure, but that sounds like
Well, that's what you said. Why would they say if about money got it? Here's our live show, but now, oh shit! Now people are going, oh shit! I know that song. That kind of stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, dude. It's one of the top 3 songs on here. Maybe top 2 or 4 or 10. Dude, there's no weakness here anywhere.
I was gonna say that too.
There's
dude.
absolutely no weak songs on here. Maybe the order, but no, there's nothing weak on here, dude.
Are they giving the run for Blackout? Because Blackout, we were like 9 out of 10.
Yeah, dude.
We were like 9 out of 10. And I think even with China White, we were still kind of like, it's not bad. It's just different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just because it's hard to have, 10, 11 songs that are just all like, this is killer, dude. All of this is killer. Because you might have something that's just not as killer, but compared to everything else, then that's kind of what we're saying, with some of this stuff is it's all killer, but some is just a notch lower on the killer spectrum. Love it, dude.
Ooh.
Blood. I love it. God. And of course, if you go back and listen to our favorite live albums, we did, one of the ones I did on the episode that I got to do was from the If You Want Blood, You Got It live album, which is great. Let's go to the next song. This is probably the closest thing you're ever going to get to them as like a ballad-ish kind of thing, and it's not even close. I'm just saying this is probably the closest thing, the speed of it.
Okay.
The
but you're not of their playing of the song and stuff. Okay.
Love Hungry Man. Basically, every man.
Yeah. So in other words, I'm horny and I'm looking for some love.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have played this on Valentine's Day.
I need your love more and more. I don't want to know what your name is.
Right?
I don't know what your game is. He's just a love hungry man, dude. Let's just doesn't matter to me. Are you game? I'm game.
Right? That's what it sounds like.
And, it's kind of makes you it's like the stories you hear about rock stars. I've never been a rock star, at least not in rock and roll. I like to consider myself a rock star of life.
Okay.
But is this kind of like what you would think the life is? I'm a love hungry man. I'm getting the women. I got shot down in flames, but I get right back up again. I'm on the highway to hell. I'm touring all the time. I'm tired.
Right.
I'm gonna party and have a good time and all these things. And it's really like a lyrical peek into the lives of these guys.
Exactly. But you know what? I guess I forgot about it, but you're right, Chris. This is they slowed this down a little bit. It's still rocking. I'm still dancing to it.
This is when it's like when they bring it down and they slow it down a little bit. These are danceable tracks right here, dude. There's been a couple on here that's like, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Like a little boogie. A little blues boogie right here, and I love it. It's great. It is great. Before we go to the next song, which I'm gonna deliver all my factoids.
Oh, okay.
You know what? Let's just go to it. The last song. Night Prowler. Let's talk about what the song. You want to talk about like the story, not about this song, but after in like '85 with the.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
How this song was brought up in pop culture because there was a serial killer in East Los Angeles, or Los Angeles, terrorizing one hot summer. Probably over. I forgot I saw a documentary on it. Yeah. It was a period of time where he just went through all of Los Angeles, from the Valley down to Hollywood, down to East LA, where he got caught.
Richard Ramirez and the Night Stalker.
Yeah, and when they caught him, or pictures of him, he had an AC/DC cap on, and he would have pentagrams on his hands in court. and he said he loved AC/DC, he loved Highway to Hell, and so that's the kind of stuff that would bring in satanic. Oh, it's because AC/DC, which stands for adult children devil child, they're satanic. Look at this album, Highway to Hell. He has a devil horns and a tail. They're saying there's Satanism. And then we're obviously listening to this, and these guys are talking about drinking and women and partying and having a good time. And only when you get to this one is a little creepy,
Well, yeah, but this song is about, if you actually look and listen to the lyrics, like obviously the PMRC doesn't do for some reason, this song is about a guy sneaking into his girlfriend's room because he can't come in through the front door because the parents are home. That's what this is. I'm your night prowler. I'm going to come in, baby. That's what this song is about, guys. Just in case you can't hear, that's Rambo having a little drink over here. He's a night prowler over here, baby. But anyways, let's talk about some. So yeah, that's how this song, and Angus always hated it. He's talked about it a couple times how he's so disappointed that happened. People have associated it with that. But let's go ahead and talk about some factoids.
Okay.
Let's talk about album sales.
Okay, I'm going to say, because I don't know the factoids, I'm going to say 15 million.
Maybe worldwide. United States, 7 million.
Okay,
United States, 7 million. But you know what? I kind of went through this, and you know how everything is very, what's the word I'm looking? The more population, the more records. USA's got so many people, 7 million. It's all, what's the word I'm looking for? It's all, relationship. What's the word I'm looking for?
I want to say condensed,
no,
but I mean,
it's... So basically here, Australia, it went 5 times platinum, but it only sold 350,000 people. But yeah, there's not that many people in Australia. You know what I mean? So it's all like... So I looked at it like this. USA, 7 times platinum. UK, platinum. Switzerland, platinum. Italy, platinum. France, platinum. Canada, 2 times platinum. Australia, 5 times platinum. You know what I mean? It's all relative. There we go.
There you go.
It's all relative to the amount of people in the nation, right? And I was like, oh man, dude, this album. So yeah, just with those, what's that? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 times platinum if you look at the worldwide, the platinum awards. Right. But I'm sure this thing has sold easily 15 million copies worldwide, 7 million in the US. One of the greatest selling records ever. But not we will, not even theirs. It hit number 17 in the U.S. charts, 8 UK, 24 Sweden, 38 Norway, 46 New Zealand, 7 in Germany, 14 in the Dutch charts, 40 Canada, number 13 in Australia. Then it entered the charts again in 2007 and through 2009, all over the world again. And check this out, dude. It was rated by some of these, music sites or magazines from back in the day, and even today. AllMusic, we know AllMusic. Everybody knows AllMusic. Blender, both gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Classic Rock, 4.5 out of 5. Encyclopedia Popular Music, 4 out of 5. Here's 8 out of 10. 4.5 out of 5. Blah, blah. Rolling Stone, our favorite, even gave it 4 out of 5. Smash Hits was a magazine in England. They did not like this album. You want to know what they fucking gave this album?
A 2.
A 3 out of 10.
A 3 out of 10?
When it came out. Garbage, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, they did not like it. They thought it had too much sexism, too much, but it's a rock album. What do you expect?
Did they listen to any prior AC/DC albums?
Probably not. They're idiots. The 3 releases to this album were Highway to Hell, July 27, 79. Girls Got Rhythm, October of 1979, and Touch Too Much in January of 1980, UK only release.
All right.
So they, had a couple releases for this. They also had a couple different covers. They have the cover that we all know and love, which is
the guys in the
picture
band.
of the band, says Highway to Hell, AC/DC up on the top. They had another one that was the original Australian, which has the same picture, but a lot of it is you can't see because of the flames. There's a bunch of flames on it, so you really just see their faces.
Oh.
Then there's like a bass guitar neck. It's only got 4 strings on it, so it's a bass guitar, and it says Highway to Hell on it. And the logo's a little darker. So there you go. little factoid from the
Wow,
world
man,
of the
that
Big
was
Talk
actually-
podcast.
That was actually good. But you know what? Just saying about this as a closer, this is a great song, and it's slowed down, bluesier, and telling a story on this. You know, it starts off great, rock, brings it down to a little bit, and ends with
Right there.
craziness of, you know, rock and roll debauchery in a sense.
For those of you that do know, right there at the end, the last thing he says in the last recorded words of Bon Scott, he says, Shazbat, Nanu Nanu, which of course is from Mork for Mork.
Mork from Mindy.
Mork and Mindy, Mork for Mork. That's exactly what that was right there.
Are you sure they didn't try to?
Shazbat.
They didn't try to play
Nanu,
it backwards and say, "Oh,
They probably
hello,
Tipper
Satan."
was probably on that.
Yeah. Hello, Satan, save me. Wasn't it something like that?
They started playing backwards in 1985. A man named Richard Ramirez will go around murdering people in the valley, Southern California. Really? I said it was Shazbat. Here we go, dude. Right into it. Back in Black.
Back in back.
We are here, you guys. The first album with Brian Johnson after the tragic death of Bon Scott. One of the greatest comebacks. They were right there at the height, but man, everybody thought that was going to be it for them with the loss of Bon Scott. But man, they found the one person that they needed to find to replace him.
Yeah, and I think they said Bon Scott even saw Brian Johnson play.
Yes.
I forgot what the name of the band is. Starts with like a G, right? I forgot what the name of the band is, but he said Bon Scott even saw these guys play.
It's Gordy?
Yeah, something like that. And he said he saw them and he thought that the lead singer was really good. He's like, wow, this guy's really good. Didn't say I need him to replace me, but at the time he just said, hey, I just saw this band and this guy was really killer. So you never know if management or somebody else listened to it and go, hey, you know, hey, what if we find this guy and check him out?
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
But, yeah. And you know, the guys in the band said that Bon Scott doesn't hand out compliments very often. He was not going to really tell you that people are great. So the fact that he did that was a pretty big deal. He did die on February 19th, 1980. And just to kind of give you the timeline here, dude, this album, Highway to Hell, came out on July. Excuse me.
Yeah, you said July.
July 27th, 79. Okay. Back in Black came out July 25th, 1980. Basically 1 year. And Bon Scott died February 19th, which is almost smack dab right in the middle there. So he passed away. They, you know, at the urging of Bon Scott's family at the funeral and probably subsequent, you know, talking to them maybe a couple more times a day.
Yes.
You guys need to push on, and you and the guys, you know, find someone, you know, a new singer, and you guys can keep pushing. I basically gave him the blessing to replace him, which, I mean, I'm sure I couldn't imagine, but I'm sure that helped a lot ease, you know, their mental anguish of like, God, should we keep going or not? I mean, it made everything okay to kind of go on, which sometimes you need that push. And kind of like almost everybody else in the world is kind of like, how do you move on from that? But, you know, we got the blessing from Bon Scott's family. That kind of helps everybody be like, okay, you know, not just the band, but everybody, fans too.
I also heard that Angus and Malcolm, pretty much right after the funeral, they went back into starting to record again or started to jam again, and that's how they kind of felt. Like, you know what? They said, well, why didn't you grieve? And they go, well, what am I going to do? Just sit home and grieve? No, I want to play music, and this is the only way I know how to get my stuff out is if I just need to start up again. And who else is there? My brother. We're going to jam and do stuff. Yeah. And that. Hey, I'm just talking about this song, which was Hell's Bells. Did you know anything about the bell itself that we heard in the beginning?
I do know.
Give me a little bit. What you heard.
I do know that when they originally recorded, there was no bell.
Correct.
The original recording of the song, they didn't have the bell. The story goes is that Malcolm was taking a piss, and all of a sudden it just came to him. We need to have a bell at the beginning of this song. It was already kind of already done.
Yeah.
And they went and tried to record a bell at the local church that was there, but every time they would try to record it, or every time the bell would ring, the pigeons would
yes, there was birds
fly off. So they had a bell made. It was perfectly tuned to what it needed to be for the song, and that's how they got the bell. I believe it rings 13 times at the beginning of the song.
Yes.
And it I can't imagine the song not having it, actually. And
Right?
I never knew until I read about that story. I always thought that that's the way it was meant to be from the beginning, but it was kind of something that came up at the last second. Sometimes those last second changes, those epiphanies you have, make a song that's great, even greater.
Exactly. And just saying that when you were talking about how they were recording in a church, they said they had like 15 different mics when they were lining it up, and Mutt found a way to get that sound that he needed when they decided to come back and try a different type of bell when then they made it. So he said he went and he tuned it, or he made sure he got the sound that he wanted from this one, man.
Well, that's the first song right there, Hell's Bells, all 5 minutes and 10 seconds of it there we ran through. Song 2, Shoot to Thrill. I love this song, dude. This is one of my favorite songs on this album.
You know what? Just to say real fast, Chris, they were saying that the AC/DC, this album was basically a tribute to Bon Scott.
I know that
that Hell's Bells was.
I know that
like some songs were.
Some
written.
of it was. It's
Yeah,
not
some
like,
of it.
It's not like we're writing a tribute album, but the Black Cover was a tribute to him. Some of this, Back in Black, I believe, was a song that they paying tribute to Bon Scott. But yeah,
Hell's Bells, because of how crazy and he was a live life to the fullest. He wanted hell to hear the bells when he came down. Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was like.
Well, I'm sure he
Those
had
are good stories.
to this day, I'm sure Bon Scott has such an influence over this band still. So he's still a part of the band. They still feel like he's looking over them and watching them, and that's great, dude. Whatever makes them write the songs that they do, I'm all for it, man. Love it. And it's kind of amazing how they went from Bon Scott to Brian Johnson, and Bob basically didn't lose a beat. Got better.
Yes.
Mutt brought a lot more out of them.
Same thing. So Mutt Lang produced his second album too.
Yep.
So like I said, how we were talking about, Mutt Lang gave him a different sound on Highway to Hell. Now they loved what he got out of them and said, let's work with him one more time on this, or however many times they worked with him. But hey, the next album, let's work with him again. Probably the stars aligned up, Chris, and they said, hell yeah, let's do it, man.
Yeah. And the same, Mutt worked with Brian Johnson doing a lot of the stuff they did with Bon Scott, with the vocals, with the breathing and stuff. Brought the best out of Brian Johnson, and man, this album, there's not a missed beat on this album. I love it, dude. Can't get enough of Back in Black for sure.
Right.
Or, Highway to Hell for that matter.
Exactly. Those are just super killer, and everything is great and pumped up and excited, man. We should need to stop dancing, man. Damn.
Let's go to the next song. And I bet there's people out there that haven't, as weird as this may sound, that haven't heard some of these songs. I'm just talking about cursory. We're talking about what here? Hell's Bells, Back in Black, You Shook Me All Night Long. Those might be the ones that people just hear on the radio.
Yes. Or watch the videos or something like that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of songs on here that people may not be very familiar with. But man, there's some killer tracks on here. This is one of them. What Do You Do for Money, Honey? Great song, dude. Love this song. Is she a gold digger? I don't know. You tell me.
Exactly, and that's what they were saying. They wrote about this was, knowing a woman, and she didn't want to work. She was real lazy, but then she wanted to find a rich guy, and that's what they're singing about. It's like, honey, what do you do for money if you're just laying around the house, or being lazy,
Yep.
in your life? It's like, oh no, I'm gonna find a rich husband. I'm gonna find a rich boyfriend. I'm gonna find a sugar daddy, And
Great.
some ladies still do. So.
Yeah. Love it, dude. Just love this song. The tongue in cheek, the Brian Johnson's delivery on this song, his screech is on full force here, man. You can't pick out a weak spot here, guys. You ready to go to the next one?
Sure, man. Give it to me, baby.
Producer's on vacation, so we're. She might, I don't know, man.
Summer vacation, man.
Yeah, dude. She's traveling. She's traveling the world. Here we go. Well, it depends on which version of this album you're looking at, what the title is. It's 3 different ones. Given the Dog a Bone. That's the name of the song. Given, which is the way you see it on most of the album releases and on Apple and iTunes and stuff like that, right?
All right.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. The AC/DC website and the world releases say that's the way it is. Now, if you go to some of the albums, particularly in Australia and the iTunes store, it's shown as 2 different things. Giving the Dog a Bone, I-N-G, or Given the Dog a Bone, I-N, G-I-V-I-N. So there's like 3 different versions of that one word, which either way you listen to it, this is a blatant song about oral sex. You cannot get, that's what it is about.
Fine. Just say it. You did it.
That's it. That's what the song is about. And I mean, I could see how maybe some of the PMRCs or feminists of the time would be like, what the fuck? You can't sing about that. It's AC/DC. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
Are you sure it wasn't? What if I want to give Rambo a bone? Giving a Rambo the bone.
Sir, you are gross.
Giving Rambo my prime rim bone.
This has got such a great groove to it. This chorus is killer, dude. It's bless you, whatever that was. Great chorus. You know, bringing out the best in these guys. A lot more of that singing chorus with everybody. I love it. Right into Angus's guitar solo. Forget about it, dude. This is incredible stuff right here, guys. And if you haven't heard some of these songs, soon as you are done listening / watching this episode on YouTube or listening on Spotify, Apple, Google, Samsung, or the dozens of other places you can listen to it at, go to your Apple, your Spotify, and listen to these 2 albums. They are amazing.
And listening to them back to back.
Oh, yeah.
No skipping.
No skips, guys. There's no reason to skip anything on either of these albums at all. That's great, dude. Let's go to the next song.
All right.
Little slow down right here, dude. We're going to end side 1. Let Me Put My Love Into You. What do you think this song's about?
When you cook dinner and you made it with love, put it inside you. Honey, did you make dinner? Yeah, I made it with love. All right, now I'm going to put your love in me.
Greg, you're going to have to stop your comedic ambitions. You have to stop your comedic ambitions, dude.
Well, then you tell me, Chris, what's it? Let me put my love into you.
Same thing they always write about. What do you think it is? Let me put my love into you, baby. It's a song about sex.
But the one previous was,
there you go.
You know, give the dog a bone.
One's more about down and dirty. You know, this one's more about.
Let me put my love into you.
Yeah, there you go. What do you do for money,
with
honey?
my knife?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you do for money, honey?
This is great stuff right here, dude.
Yeah, dude. And it still has that swagger where you're just kind of
like I said,
slow.
It's a different kind. It's a different swag. It's a different strut. It's a different stage presence. Where it's almost like, you know, Brian Johnson was more of a commanding on stage. You know what I mean? He was more like yeah. Where Bon kind of was like, yeah, dude. It was just a different kind of thing where they were both like so different, but kind of were doing the same thing, but they were doing it differently, and each just his own man, but equally effective. I love it, dude. And of course, you know, Angus and Malcolm doing their guitar thing here is just great, dude.
You know, that these albums, these classic albums, they just had the right band and the right formula just to kick some ass and take some names, man. Here, take my name.
And like on the previous album, Highway to Hell, Angus Young, Malcolm Young, and Bon Scott wrote everything. On this one, Angus, Malcolm, and Brian Johnson wrote all the songs. Here I got a couple fun facts I just want to throw out there first, quick. So when they went in with their to start doing new material for this album, their follow-up to Highway to Hell, their vocalist at the time, Bon Scott, so this is in like January, maybe into December, January, he used to be a drummer in a band called the Spectres. They recorded a demo of Let Me Put My Love Into You and Have a Drink on Me with Bon Scott on drums. So so they did record 2 demos, those 2 songs with Bon Scott on drums. I didn't try to find them. I don't know if you can. Maybe we'll see, but I thought that was pretty cool that he was there when 2 of the songs that do end up on the album. Could have been demos of any songs, but 2 that actually ended up on the album. That's great, dude. That he's there was
maybe
actually a part of
the
that.
nation in Australia. It can find it out there if it's only out there.
Yeah.
All right, Australia, we're throwing a challenge to you. Find it, email it to me and Chris.
Yeah.
And we'll say your name over the airwaves.
Yeah, let us know where we can find those demos. Maybe it's on the Bonfire box set. I don't know.
Ooh.
It's possible. I didn't go. Like I said, I didn't go look. I'll have to check it out. But if
like
anybody,
that.
anybody from the nation, Australia, worldwide, but maybe Australia because they probably have a little bit more stuff there, could let us know where we can find those 2 demos if they're even out there.
Right.
That's it, dude. Those are my 2 little factoids I had to give out quick.
That was cool, man. Why don't you bring me to the next song?
Here we go.
Let me put my love into you. Yeah. So what song do you think is more kind of popular, Chris, in the sense of like the first time you hear it? Still Highway to Hell or Back in Black?
What do you mean?
Okay, so like those 2 iconic songs. We're just bringing the song, the beginning of each one. You know, the first 15 seconds of each song. Which one do you think is a little more iconic? This sounding, or is it Highway to Hell? In your preference?
Me personally?
Yeah, personally.
Highway to Hell.
Okay.
For you?
I'm gonna say the same thing on Highway to Hell on that one. But like I said, this doesn't. You hear this and you're like, oh shit, that's AC/DC. Oh shit, Back in Black, yeah.
It's like A and A1. It's
Okay.
like there is no wrong answer. It's just a personal preference. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So iconic track. And I'm probably gonna say something right now that may. I don't want it to rub anybody the wrong way, but I've been trying to figure this out the whole time, and I'll go ahead and let this out right now, so we don't have to wait till the last song to do factoids. But this song has sold in the U.S. alone 25 million copies. 25 million in the U.S.
As a
album.
single?
No, this album.
Oh, the album. Okay.
The album. And I've listened to this album a lot, right? As a matter of fact, this was the first metal rock album that I ever heard in its entirety. It was on the same day I heard Back in Black and Shout at the Devil on LP. I remember the day. I remember exactly where I was. I was up at our neighbors, Joe and Joni Dowell's, their grandson. Troy was there, little troublemaker. He was older than me, and he had the albums, and we listened to them, and I was like, oh my God, dude. This is, oh my God, this is life-changing for me. And
So you heard Back in Black and
Shout at the Devil were like
Shout
the
at the Devil.
first like rock albums that I listened to like the whole thing like in one day. Like, oh my God, this is amazing. But here's one thing I've been kind of trying to contemplate in my mind. What is it about this album that made it sell 25 million copies? Hell's Bells, Back in Black, You Shook Me All Night Long. Those are the 3 probably most well-known songs.
Okay.
So are you telling me on the strength of just those 3 tracks, this thing has sold 25 million? Or is it people... I mean, what is it? What is it about this album that made it go 25?
Say, because I'm going to say yes, Chris. Those 3 songs probably pushed it out, especially over the years. Maybe it didn't sell 25 in 1980, but by the time it's 2023, it's probably sold 25 million. You know? AC/DC is a name. AC/DC is a brand. AC/DC is a lifestyle. However you want to say it, because, you know, the guys in the band, none of them ever wore flashy clothes. We go out there in our jeans and shirt and we play.
Yeah, like you had just said right here. In 2007, December 13th, 2007, it hit 22 million. So it's been 16 years-ish, 15 and a half. We'll just say 15 years because no information on the internet is up to date ever. So it has sold 3 more million in the U.S. in those years.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next
because
song.
of the popularity, because it's been on movies. I think it was on Iron Man.
Yeah, like in all the,
I
the
think
Iron
it was
Man stuff, all that.
There's other movies it's been on, soundtracks. You know, they've done stuff.
But it's just amazing that it's like, really, man, 25 million. I mean, God, it's just, for me, that number is unfathomable. I can't even imagine 25 million. And they say the number worldwide is 50. It's the number 4 best-selling album, I believe, of all time. Number 4. Eagles and Michael Jackson, I think.
Yeah.
And then Back in Black. This is just killer stuff, though, dude. I mean,
and Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet, and Hysteria from Def Leppard.
what about him?
Those are the top ones that are up there also.
How much is Slippery When Wet sold?
10 million.
I don't even know. But I know Hysteria's got that diamond, right?
Yeah.
They're probably both they are both diamond. Man, this is great. This is a song. This is like a dance song, dude.
Right?
This is a boogie blues boogie song. I love this song. It's one of the greats.
I've heard people say that it's overplayed. Like,
Yes.
this song again. Every time on the radio, they always play this song from AC/DC. It's like, all right, cool. But we know that they have a ton of other stuff.
Yep.
But like I said, you're in concert. It's live in front of you. They're playing it. You ain't telling them to
Hey, dude, I
turn it off. Don't play that song.
I went to see them. I told the story during the live episode we did. I said that I'd seen AC/DC live.
Yeah.
So we were on the floor, and it was at Dodger Stadium, so it's not like they have bathrooms readily available down there. So you had to go kind of off to the side here, and they had like porta potties. Right when I get in the porta potty, this song comes on. So I was like, So Turbo P, get back out there, dude. And hit like the last, right after the guitar solo. So
Right.
I mean, so I missed it.
You didn't have your phone out? You've been recording it?
No, dude. I think I took maybe a couple pictures, but that was it. You know me. Don't make me go on a rant again, dude, about the
pictures and
yeah, dude. Let's just live in the moment, guys. A lot of artists are gonna say, "I want to do whatever makes the fans happy," but okay, that's fine. But you're gonna go back in time one day and go, God, I wish I would have just paid a little bit more attention to it, and lived in that moment of just. Everybody's seen that iconic picture on the internet of. I don't know who's walking by, and it doesn't matter, but you have all these kids, and you have that one older lady that's just like leaning on the rail, like just with a huge smile because she's living in the moment, watching whoever it is, if it's royalty or someone famous walking by, being there in the moment. And it kind of shows the difference in the generations where kids these days, and even adults these days, want to video everything so they can put it on the internet and show all their friends, instead of just taking that moment and absorbing it into your medulla oblongata and just having it forever and just that feeling, dude, because yeah, the memories there, but you have that feeling and that memory to trigger that feeling, and just live in the moment, guys. Sorry, mini rant. Yeah, dude, this is a great song, dude. Yeah, it's another song about sex. Love it.
Get out of town.
Dude, and his guitar solo in this song was just so nasty and just like sleazy and nasty, man. I love it. It's great. Here's another great one, dude. Have a Drink on Me.
That's it, man.
There's a little controversy about this song because Bon Scott, obviously, the way he died, a night out drinking with friends. He was passed out. His friend let him sleep in the backseat of his car. Long story short, choked on his own vomit or whatever. So the fact they had a song about drinking was a little controversial for some people, not for me, because this is the part of the lifestyle of the band, and they're singing about stuff that they know. If they didn't sing about having a drink on me and having a good time, they wouldn't be singing about the things that are a part of their life and what they do. I love this song, dude. And it's not even necessarily about drinking, getting all fucked up. It's about, hey, man, let's celebrate. That's the way I see the song. Have a drink on me. Good times.
Yes.
Let's celebrate the great things in our life. And that's what I see this song as.
Correct. Let's have a good time tonight. Let's hang out. And you know what? The first drink's on me. Have a drink on me. We're having a good time.
Excuse me, which is usually what Greg says. First drink's on me. Oh, he always says that.
Hey, don't say
First
that out
drink's
loud,
on
man. Damn, these people.
Excuse
have
me.
a Jaeger shot on me. That's me, more or less me.
Greg's always busting out the Jaeger. Jaeger is Greg's drink of choice, dude. Looks like you've had some Igor with those great dance moves, dude.
No, not today, but I will. Yeah.
So yeah, I love this song. No controversy for me. Love it, dude. Great song, dude. All right, you ready to go? Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Shake a Leg, track number 9. Love it, dude. What do you think about this song right here? It's one of the you never hear this one ever played on the radio ever.
No, not really, huh?
It's got a little different feel to it. You know, it's got, you know, kind of a smooth verse right here, and then they bust into the, you know, Shake a Leg on the chorus, dude. But man, this song is just as killer as the rest of them, dude. You know any stories about this? I don't.
Is this kind of like, you know, how do I explain it? You're just doing something and it's kind of like, hey man, like shake your leg, let's get out of here. You know, like just hurry up and let's get out of here, maybe style.
Yeah, I think, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like something that.
Yeah, I think, you know, shake a leg, you know, let's get out of here. Let's get with it. Let's get to it. Let's do what we need to do to get done what we need to get done. Shake a leg. Hurry up. Come on, let's go. Yeah. Maybe it's like, you know, we're doing this boring stuff like almost like a school kid in like class. Come on, shake a leg. Let's go. Let's go out and party after school or this weekend and go have a good time and kind of let go. Shake a leg, you know?
And that's up their style. They're saying, you know? AC/DC, hey, we're out, we're partying, we're having a good time. We sing about wine, women, and song, and sometimes, hey, let's get going so we can start singing about that stuff.
Yeah, I think
shake a leg.
I may have yelled this at the interns once or twice. Come on, shake a leg. Come on, let's go. Hook that up. Come on. The lighting's not right.
Daddy, my leg don't shake.
Nice little groove here, dude. So same players on this album and on the previous one. Same producer, Mutt Lange. I believe same engineer, Tony Platt, if I am correct. Yep. Man, this gives some. I'm gonna start giving factoids.
Cool.
Going one more song after this. The last song, Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution, which will be coming up in a second. Like I said, dude, 25 million albums sold. And this thing, look at this. Argentina, 3 times platinum. Australia, 12 times platinum. Austria, platinum. Canada, diamond. It did 1 million in Canada. No one ever does 1 million in Canada. 2 times platinum in Denmark. 2 times platinum in France. 2 times platinum in Germany. 3 times platinum in Italy. Platinum in New Zealand. 2 in Switzerland. 2 in UK. 25 in the US. How many is that total? I don't know. Let's see.
I know, right?
15, that's 40, 44, 45, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 54 times platinum worldwide. Sorry, 55 times platinum worldwide. Whew. It's all relative, dude. God damn, dude.
Basically what you're saying was this album was a little more popular than Highway to Hell.
Yeah. A little more. Twice as popular.
All right.
Maybe more.
Wow.
Well, the other one, this is 25 in the US. Highway to Hell is only 7. So, yeah. 4.5 times, 3.5 times more popular. You know, what were the singles off of this? You know, let's go to the next song. Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution. Love this song. I think it's kind of a great anthem. Some people don't like it for some reason.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great song to kind of mantrify what they're all about. We're rock, and it ain't noise pollution. This is what it is, and this is what we play.
It's almost like a big fuck you to the critics who thought after Bon Scott died, you're done. AC/DC's done. There's no more AC/DC. But then they came back and said, hey, look, we're still rocking and rolling, and we did even bigger and louder, and we found somebody who we like and is bringing the spirit of Bon Scott with him.
Yep.
And here we are, baby. We're on a roll. So if you don't like the shit we're pulling out, who gives a fuck? Because it ain't noise pollution.
Shake a leg and get out of here.
Yeah.
You Shook Me All Night Long was the first release, August 15th, 1980. Hell's Bells was a European release only on Halloween of 1980. Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution UK in November of 80 and December of 80. Back in Black came out, which is really, but basically alone, those 2 songs kind of propelled this into the stratosphere. Is there anything else you want to talk about with this album? Because, man, this thing is, dude, this album charted in 80s, 1980, it charted in 81. It charted again in 2002, 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. It has charted continuously. I mean, it re-entered the Billboard Top 200 in 2018. It was in the Billboard Top 200 in 2019. It was in the Billboard Top 200 in 2020. It hit 89. It hit 68 in 2021. It hit 84 in 2022. This is ridiculous, bro.
Is this the album? This is the first time we've talked about an album that's just hit so much, like has sold the most records out there.
This is the first time we've talked about it.
Anytime that we've talked about things, that I think Def Leppard was the only one that went 20 million, or was it 15?
Something like that. 20, like 20ish.
Okay, say 20ish. We haven't said anything from that. We're at 50 on this or 60. Yeah, this is the first time we've talked about an album that's sold 60 million worldwide. You know?
And I just wanted to fun fact it out there. The year that this came out, then we're going to wrap everything up here. The year that this came out right here, in 1980, it has sold almost 1 million copies. The population in Australia in 1980 was 14.5 million. And it has sold 9 million copies. I'm just putting it in perspective. I'm not saying they all sold that year, but the year it came out. You know what I mean? So like 1 in 14 people have bought that album. That's a little fun fact here to end it.
Which cover?
The Back in Black. Which was all black. They didn't like it.
I wanted to say, like, what do you mean which cover? There's only one cover.
The Back in Black album, the label didn't like it. They said, put the gray around the AC/DC logo and we'll let you do it. Okay. Guys, AC/DC, Highway to Hell, Back in Black, 2 of the greatest albums of all time. Here's where you can get a hold of us. BigTalkCG.podcast, TikTok, Instagram. At BigTalkCG on Twitter. BigTalkCG@gmail.com. Big Talk CG with Chris and Greg on YouTube and Facebook. It's killer. Take them out, Greg.
All right, guys. This is Greg from Big Talk Podcast with Chris and Greg. Remember, when you listen loud. And don't forget, we'll see you next time. See ya. And rock and roll and podcasts are no noise pollution.